Hello, I'm doing my part on Chapter 56, The Ultimate Rape Victim, the story of Jane Doe. First off, I want to apologize for how I look. I just got home from the hospital. We had meetings with gastro and endo and urology and child life and everything. I'm home to shower, change, do this, and then I'll be back. So, sorry if I'm a little all over the place. I'm doing my very best, I swear. But anyway, let's get down to this. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, I just learned PowerPoint as well, the use of language. Boy, how do I do this? The use of language in considering rape victims. Language is a very powerful thing. I actually understand this a little bit because, without going into too much detail, I was widowed at 28 years old and have two very young, medically fragile children, so I understand being ostracized by language and being a social pariah, which is kind of what she describes in the book. I obviously don't understand being raped, but I do understand what she's coming from. But there is a huge use of negative language when talking about a rape victim. First off, we call them a rape victim when they don't generally see themselves as victims. They just see themselves as women who happen to have an awful thing done to them. She should not be defined by her status as a rape victim. She should not be blamed, as she often is. She is seen as broken or torn apart or not as good as somebody else, and this should not be so. She may not ever be able to tell her full story because people are uncomfortable, or they just don't want to hear, or they go in and try and fix it or minimize it, and that's terrible. She will likely not be able to recover because she has never been able to tell her full story. They cannot be glamorous or successful or funny because then they're minimizing what happened to them. And they can't be agents of change because they are so broken that how can she ever be? The language we use to describe them is not this way. It's not gender. We use gender neutral things: wife assault, partner assault, domestic violence, family abuse, all found on page 542. These words minimize the impact and make it seem almost okay and almost pleasant sounding. We want to take the sting out of our words. Rape is actually about men, Jane Doe argues, that men use rape to make women more subservient because men are in better positions, they earn more, they're more employable, they have no responsibility at home except to meet punishment to wayward children. They feel the need to control women, and they feel it's their right to take any woman that they want. This, I have read somewhere, is changing in the West as we see rape as being more a crime against autonomy, the autonomy of the woman to be her own person and to be free from battery and assault, but then it becomes a battery charge instead of a rape charge. Sorry, I'm trying to get this screenshot to do what I want it to do, and it's not, but this is as good as it gets. Jane Doe tells a horrifying statistic that 1 in 4 men would rape if given the chance, which is truly a high number. And the good ones don't speak up and therefore condone rape in that way. They're not questioning others who do it, and it almost seems like they're applauding them behind closed doors. Men do this because of the way that they have been socialized since birth. Men have the responsibility. We always say that men have the responsibility to go against how they were raised, though this is very, very difficult. Traditional family values picture them as strong providers, They go out to work, they drive the cars, they are more immersed in technology, less in the reading, less in the day-to-day of taking care of the children. But except for punishment, of course, which mom can always say, would you just wait till your dad gets home? According to her friend, men instinctually follow their dicks, which is an interesting way to phrase it. I'm not necessarily with Jane Doe on this one, but that's what she says, and let's follow what she says. She kind of comes to a conclusion that men rape because of biology, and they're brought up in a society that teaches them it is okay to control women. Again, just look at their use of language. We use bitch and hoe, sometimes in a good connotation, but it's a negative sounding word to call your woman a bitch or a hoe. This one makes me laugh because I've also said this, that anything that bleeds for 5 days every month and doesn't die is really weird. Hey, I've used that, but that's me describing me, and that's not me describing women in a negative way, using that to suppress women. And we're always raised to, the ultimate insult is to call somebody gay or a faggot, which is actually a burning pile of sticks, so I don't understand that one. Or if you're in England, a cigarette. And queer. And those are the worst insults we can come up with. Again, all suppressing and all degrading towards different groups of society. Feminist theory. A little bit of feminist theory in here. Traditional views hold that women is property of her husband, of her father, of her brother. They're to protect her virtue. They're to protect her virginity. And when men need to suppress a woman, we say that she is a male's property. If real pamphlets helping out rape victims at Princeton University advise girls to wear a wedding ring. If you pretend you are the property of another man so as not to be assaulted by a man. For a long time, women were not as believed in the courts of law. In some cultures, even it takes 4 women to counteract 1 male testimony. This is not good. This is another way of suppressing women. And we have a system where women are not equal to men. They're victims. And they're told, you just wait here, little lady. Well, we big, strong men who are the police, the lawyers, the judges, and the defenders, we will all defend you and help you out. So this is a little bit about the chapter, The Ultimate Rape Victim. And if you look at Grace's video, she will talk about the rest of it.